What's up, everybody? Welcome to Inside the Game, your one source, everything cool in video games. Don't forget, you can be a part of our show. All you have to do is go to insidethegame.ca or hit us up on Discord. We're there. You can submit your clip and end off our show. What's coming up on today's episode? Here it is. It's the rundown. Chaos has reigned, a mountain has been exploded, and from there, terror has been set across the island.
So we have 10 opponents that we have to fight here, and we bet festival tokens for each round that we go through.
Cory, maybe or maybe not. I'm thinking more like maybe not. Apex Legends on the Switch.
Wow, man,
that's cool.
You kind of opened my eyes to some really cool idea. That is really awesome.
That looks like another wicked show, so let's get started. Here we go. Time to help out the gods.
Ouch. My head.
I went back into the world of Immortal's Fenyx Rising with the latest DLC, Myths of the Eastern Realms. We take on a whole new story. No longer are we going to play as Fenyx. In fact, we play as Cory, a young man, I would say, set on a quest to help a single god. We're definitely different this time than what we've seen from Immortal's Fenyx Rising. No longer are there multiple gods. In this instance, we're helping one reclaim our world and bring things back to a similar state of what we kind of known before. Chaos has reigned, a mountain has been exploded, and from there, terror has been set across the island. And it's up to Cory, and with the help of his friendly bird, of course, to go out and make things right.
I don't believe it. Goddess Nuwa, it's really you.
Our hero, Cory, is just one hero. You're not able to actually decide this time. You are given Cory as a playable character, as the protagonist within the game, and there's no other option this time. Not really able to customize your character. You're not going to be able to pick a hairstyle or some eyes or facial features or things like that. They have a very specific goal here with Myths of the Eastern Realm. They want to tell the story of Cory, a young man up and coming who's trying to build confidence and overall become the hero of the story. Cory might be the hero, but the star of the game is actually the Chinese mythology set behind our latest DLC. The world environment itself that they've created behind this game is phenomenal. We had the gods over in Immortal's Fenyx Rising, and this time moving forward, we've gone into this Chinese appeal with the Chinese mythology, and it's definitely got its own tone and its own storytelling mechanic within the game. Nice to see them actually pick up from Immortal's Fenyx Rising and kind of start fresh, give us a whole new hero and a whole new goal, but this time only one god. And my only problem really is the banter really isn't there. Not like Zeus and Prometheus when they were going back and forth. You felt them break that fourth wall, that fourth dimension down. This time round, it seems very sterile. I don't find the writing as well this time in the latest DLC.
That's corny, right? Oh, screw it. Yeah!
My time with the latest DLC from Immortal's Fenyx Rising was an absolute blast. Myths of the Eastern Realm was a nice addition. A whole new story, a fresh outtake, and this Chinese mythology was an absolute charm to see in this world. The environment was a blast. The writing could have been a little bit stronger, but overall, for me, we're giving this one an 8. Myths of the Eastern Realm lives on its own for a great addition to Immortal's Fenyx Rising. Creative world design and interesting characters kept me going back for more. I just wish the sense of humor was there from the previous portion of the game.
Hey guys, this week we're checking out the new AC Valhalla seasonal update, the Ostara season. This is kind of like the Yule season, but this one's the kickoff to kind of like the Easter season. So there's some kind of cool, funky new challenges and new missions we get to take on here. And the nice thing is I thought the settlement looked really nice. Ravensthorpe is decorated beautifully. You know, it looks like it is really a kickoff to Easter. So to really start the festival off for yourself, you want to find Norvid in the festival area. He's got his shop set up very similar to how he had it in the Yule season. He's got a ton of items that you can get with festival tokens that you can earn via different challenges, whether it be the archery challenge, drinking, fist fights. You do get it for completing some of the missions as well. So there's a lot of things here that do draw some similarities to the Yule season, but we were seeing kind of a refresh, reskin here for the Easter season. But honestly, I really did enjoy the way everything looked, the way they kind of presented the content here. It didn't necessarily feel, you know, like a one-for-one for the Yule season. But I definitely did do the archery challenge right off the bat because I do enjoy this one. I thought this one is a ton of fun. So the fact that it is the same as the Yule season, I don't really care. I do enjoy this one. I find it challenging enough that I do like the fact that you can also repeat it, so you can keep getting festival tokens if you want to keep kind of upping your, you know, your personal best. They did change the fist fighting a little bit this year, or for this season, sorry, and I really did think it was actually for the better. So we have 10 opponents that we have to fight here, and we bet festival tokens for each round that we go through. But if we don't want to proceed to the next challenger, we can actually leave with our festival tokens, which I thought was kind of a cool way to kind of bet your tokens. You can kind of bet them all and keep going through. Challengers do get more difficult as you go on, and it does get more difficult for yourself because Eivor replenishes health between each challenger by drinking a little bit of mead. So if you keep going through, he drinks mead between every round, and eventually it gets more and more difficult for him to stand upright, and he loses his focus, so you can't actually lock onto the enemy. So fighting him becomes a lot more difficult in those later rounds. So you are betting your festival tokens on those really difficult challengers. So if you lose it all. So you really have to kind of really hone in that fighting style, you know, the drunken monkey style. And it was a lot of fun, and I thought it was kind of funny because Eivor kind of plays it off, and then you can move right from the fighting with all the drinking to just drinking if you want, if you're really in that mood. One of the more challenging missions actually during the festival is the egg hunt. There's an Easter egg hunt here, yeah, and you got to go all over Ravensthorpe to find these things. And they're kind of, you find a few of them based on some riddles from the character that gives you the mission. And some of the riddles are kind of, you know, they're not necessarily easy to solve. If you like riddles, I think you'll find these, you know, not difficult, but at least challenging enough. But it is kind of fun because they're not all riddle clues for all the egg locations. I think there's 15 baskets of eggs you have to find here, and so I was just spamming Odin's site for the most part because it was the easiest way to kind of find them as I went through. But if you do want to find them through some of the riddles, it's definitely makes it a little more fun, gets you kind of in that, you know, fun scavenger hunt kind of mood. And let me tell you, there was some kind of interesting spots to find them. You did have to climb up and all over Ravensthorpe to find these things. But again, it was one of the more lengthy challenges here, so it was fun. I did enjoy it. But there was definitely some cool missions throughout this. There's kind of a storyline throughout this whole festival, and at one point you're actually fighting these kind of ghost-like ethereal bears on a cliffside, and it was a ton of fun. This was a cool battle. I really enjoyed this, and kind of the little storyline that this one branched off from for the festival and the season was really interesting. I have always thought the way AC Valhalla has told their stories is done really well, and they didn't let me down here. I thought this was a fun mission to play through, and you do get some festival tokens when you finish these missions up. This one isn't repeatable like the drinking or the fighting or the arrow challenge, so very much like the egg hunt, this is a kind of a one-shot deal. But the mission I did enjoy the most was the May Queen mission, where you're actually tasked to slay a legendary beast. In this case, it's a chicken, and I save a man that's hiding like a little scaredy cat up there on a rock from this legendary chicken. Let me tell you, this thing was tough. It took a few shots to take it down, but I actually make a crown out of it for the May Queen. She wanted a legendary beast, something proven, and something that looked awesome. She didn't want a traditional crown, so Eivor was tasked with that. I think he came up with a pretty cool idea. He used the chicken's wings, and I thought actually it looked pretty good. And the cutscene that kind of ensues was nice. It's kind of this heartwarming scene between Eivor and the May Queen, and she's kind of this go-getter little girl, and it was nice. It was just another great story element added here, and it's definitely kind of something that holds it apart from the Yule season, because I know a lot of people may think these are kind of one-for-one carbon copies, but these missions were done well, and I thought overall that the Yule season isn't very much like the Ostara season. We have some of the same challenges, but those missions, the egg hunt, the bears, and now the May Queen, I thought it was done really well, so that kind of stands out on its own. And I really like the fact that there were so many different items you could get here with the festival tokens to really customize the settlement afterwards. And again, my biggest one was that raven skin. I thought it looked really, really cool, so that was the first one I went for. But again, there's a few things you can redo here so you can get more festival tokens, so you could really clear that store out if you want to. This runs till April 8th, so if you haven't jumped in to check out the Ostara season, most likely the Ostara Festival, you got to get primed for the Wrath of the Druid DLC coming out soon, and the other free seasonal DLCs that AC Valhalla is going to be dropping. But for right now, up until April 8th, you can check out the Ostara Festival.
What's up, everybody? Drew with Inside the Game, and yes, that's right, Last Oasis is making its way to Xbox. We sat down with the developers on Last Oasis Donkey Crew and asked them a few questions. Enjoy the interview.
We clung to life because we never stopped walking.
So this is an Xbox One game, and we are definitely like working on seeing if we actually can have an Xbox Series S or X version of the game later. But right now, of course, this game is going to be playable on Xbox Series via retrocompatibility. But this version is made for Xbox One and Xbox One S and One X. We use Xbox One dev kits and all of that. So what we can say is about the target frame rate for this version, the last gen version, which is like we are targeting it as 30 FPS. Right now we have some parts of the game that run steady at 45, some of them are on 30 on point, some of them struggle and get like 28 or something. And definitely there's something that we are working on during the game preview of the game, kind of like making everything more performant on the Xbox, and also like making the playing field good both for PC and Xbox. But of course, if the coming out release, we're gonna assess how we're actually gonna do our next gen version for the Xbox Series S and X. So we cannot officially say target FPS for the series next gen versions, because that's just not the version that we're working on right now.
Let's put it like this, right now most of our focus has been to just add all of this content and really make the Xbox version perfect. And that took a lot of our focus and effort. But regarding the future, I would say that we are very largely community-driven development. That doesn't mean we do have ideas, more than enough ideas to what we want to develop. But right now we want to see if those changes that we did work out in a way that we expected. So in particular, what we are most excited about, apart from the content and the Xbox obviously, is this shift to the new small realms. Like, I cannot state strongly enough how much I think this will impact gameplay. Because previously you were like one person in a group of 10,000, and now you might be one person in a group of 100. And this means that you will have much more impact on the game. and with that coming, a lot of our design decisions might change in the next coming month. So, as I said, community-driven development. We look at how do our actions work, do they work as intended, and where do we take it?
So both NVIDIA DLSS and ray tracing, everything of this new kind of stuff, we're definitely working on it. We don't have it right now, but we're definitely going to be assessing if we're going to introduce it for the next gen version. Of course, the PC is always going to be like the biggest version with all of this introduction. So for now, we don't have it, and we don't have like a clear plan on when to add it. But definitely, if we're going on the road for next-gen consoles, we're definitely gonna start leveling with that and let you guys know. About mouse and keyboard support from Vladimir, I guess that's how you say it. That's actually a very interesting question because yes, there is support for mouse and keyboard on Xbox. So both versions of the game are the same, right? So they both have support for the gamepad and the mouse and keyboard. And also the gamepad and mouse keyboard UI, even though they are unified, they are a little bit different. So right now you can see I'm on the gamepad. You can see like there's like the top left panel, which has like this switches, which you do with the bumpers. And if I actually touch my mouse here or my keyboard, you see that it changes. So this is actually like the mouse and keyboard UI. Like when you change the input, you actually like this is gonna look more like the PC build that we had. It's the same UI, but it's a little bit different. There's no top panel stuff. And it changes a little bit at the hotkeys and stuff, so you can play on keyboard. So both of the versions support that, but we are not claiming that we 100% support mouse and keyboard on Xbox just yet, just because we still have some little glitches right now with like hot swapping between game inputs. So we're still fixing that, and as soon as possible, we're gonna send a new patch for the game that is gonna have like a 100% official support. But the game already works with keyboard and mouse. You're gonna be able to use that on release day, but it's not officially supported yet because it still has some problems.
So first of all, we have on PC we have private servers for via Nitrado already, and we're going to have that for Xbox as well. Not exactly at launch, but soon, like a week after launch. So we just need to figure some technicalities out, but it won't take long. But another thing that we want to focus on is actual, let's say, self-hosted private servers, which is another big thing that we want to work on this year. So the ability for people to host their own server and to have complete access over where they want to host it, etc. That is something we want to introduce. It's something that the community asked for a lot, and we will, it's just we also want to give that to the community. It's just difficult from tech. So yes, private servers will be a huge focus this year.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, and also with the private servers, there's a little bit of like the mouse and keyboard stuff because like at this moment you can actually have your private servers like Xbox or crossplay. But for you to own a private server right now with Nitrado, you actually need to use your Steam account. So any Xbox player that wants to host a server would be able to, but not with their Xbox Live ID at the moment. We are working on introducing it, but like you're definitely going to see people hosting private servers with their own Steam ID that are going to be like cross-play and Xbox only. Like the good part is that Xbox players can join any server. They can join Xbox only servers and also cross-play servers, both on official and on the private realms. Well, we don't know because we don't have that plan yet, but as soon as we assess that, we're gonna check if there's gonna be like an enhanced version that is just gonna update the base version or it's gonna be different one. I just cannot talk about that right now because we don't know. So I can say that the competitiveness is there. We did a lot of testing with both Xbox players versus PC players, where we didn't see like a gigantic leap. But of course, when you're trying like a $10,000 computer versus an Xbox, there's going to be a little bit of an advantage on the performance side. And the way that we actually leveled this out in the beginning, and of course we are going to be watching closely to see, because right now we tested a lot, but this is a massive game. We can't kind of like test the output of like hundreds and thousands of players. So we're gonna see this working with the Xbox, and the good thing that we have is that we have Xbox only realm. So if by all means we see that like the playing field is not being leveled on the crossplay, we have the Xbox players being able to fall back to Xbox only servers while we actually kind of check it out. But in our tests we didn't saw that.
I wouldn't call it fault.
Yeah.
Like, I actually think that the experience. So me personally, I actually plan on playing on Xbox only realm on season 3. I just want to see what it's like, and in particular with the introduction of different clan sizes, clan size limitations per realm, it's going to be very interesting for smaller groups and play. So I wouldn't call it falling back. And I think that the experience on the Xbox realms is going to be very interesting because you get to experience the game from fresh, I guess, and you get to learn it together with other people who are not familiar with the game yet. And that's kind of for me personally, the most exciting part about a survival game, about learning how everything works. So that is what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, true. The Xbox realms are gonna be like the experience of playing Last Oasis for the first time, because well, most of the players are not actually veterans like the PC players are.
All right, Cory, you think we can become legends over on the Switch?
Maybe.
Guys, look!
Bring the party!
I'll high-five you all when I see you.
Cory, maybe or maybe not. I'm thinking more like maybe not. Apex Legends on the Switch. Dude, we were checking this game out, and as good as it feels to play, it is a bit of a chug fest on Switch. It's showing its age. How'd you feel about Apex Legends coming to the Switch?
Yeah, you know what? This is almost more a Nintendo Switch review than an Apex Legends review. I mean, the only reason I say that is because we have been kind of pushing the limits of the current Switch as far as games we've released. You know, Witcher 3. Like, I mean, Apex Legends is starting to kind of fall in line with maybe being a little too much of a game for the current gen of Switch. And the only reason I say that is because whether you're playing this one handheld or you're playing it docked, and I was playing it docked on my computer screen, this game, and you said it before when we were talking about this, it looks like it's 480, like we're playing a 480 resolution. It's so pixelated, and this is a game that requires the detail and the distance so you can see your enemies. This is a battle royale. I mean, there's action all around you the entire time you're playing, and you know, I do enjoy the fact that we have the option to play another battle royale outside of Fortnite on the Switch, but let's get real, Fortnite plays so much smoother and
way better.
It feels optimized for the Switch, opposed to where Apex feels like a game that I should be playing on console or PC, and now I'm playing it on my Switch, and it's just, like you said, it's chuggy. Like the aiming, there's not a whole lot of settings that you can change as far as sensitivity. You can change it a little bit, but for the most part, I had a really difficult time dialing my aim in.
Dude, playing in handheld mode, it looks decent, but you can't control it in a battle royale essence because you have the duals, like the sticks, like this just doesn't. The Joy-Cons don't work, man. No. Not for a game like this. So here I am in handheld mode with a pro controller in hand trying to play this game, and it just doesn't work, Cory, unfortunately. If you are gonna play, definitely make sure you're not doing the crossplay, because I tried that. I joined an Xbox party, dude, it was bad. Like, it was horrible. I couldn't see where I was getting shot at, I couldn't see who to shoot at, and it was just a pixelated mess. And that's the biggest downfall. The game feels good, like it feels like I'm playing Apex, right? Like it runs, but it's the visuals that hold the game back. And I think, yeah, you touched on it. I think this is where we see the lack of power now coming into the Switch, and that's the biggest downfall for Apex Legends. It's nice to see something else there besides Fortnite, but dude, Fortnite is just way better than Apex Legends on this console. It's so much better.
It's like there's no competition, really. I mean, it's nice to see Apex in the mix here. It's nice to play Apex on a different platform. It is a fun game. There's, it's a one-for-one copy. We get everything in the Nintendo Switch version that we do get on the other consoles and PC. So it's, it's great to have all that access and be able to, play with the different legends. But again, as soon as you get into these games, you quickly realize, like, you're at a distinct disadvantage with, render distance, just objects rendering in general. I mean, it's just, unless you're staring right at it and you're right on top of something, it doesn't really look good in this game. And even as if you're a huge fan of this game, I think you would jump into this and go, why would I ever play this game in this form when you have, better options available to you?
No, for sure. They gave us special skins just for the Switch, which is cool to see. Revenant is awesome. He's my favorite character to play as because he's got that sense of humor I like a lot. So he's pretty cool. But at the same time, it's just not enough. You want to play this, I want to play it over on the Xbox or the PlayStation or PC, somewhere where I can see what I'm doing. And that's the biggest downfall, man, is I can't see. 720 is supposed to be in dock mode, or like 480, and it just doesn't work.
No, I do want to quickly touch on the fact that there is voice communication here in-game lobbies and like in-game chat. So I tried that out, but I actually had a really tough time hearing my other two teammates. They were there, they made noises, but it was very spotty. So I don't know if that's, just the game or it's on the Switch. I have no idea. But I quickly just turned off that feature and just decided that pinging objects would be the best way to communicate with my teammates regardless.
Fair enough. Cory, I don't think we're becoming legends over here on the Switch with Apex. What do you score in this?
Well, I mean, Apex is a great game, Drew. We've played it on Xbox, we've played it on other consoles. It's a lot of fun. They've got a solid game. There's a ton of content here. But playing it on the Nintendo Switch, you just fall short. The graphical step back is huge here. And it honestly, to me, it feels like this game is pretty well unplayable in this form. I got to give it a 3.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. This isn't good, unfortunately. It doesn't run the way you expect it to when you play Apex on other consoles. Everything's a lot smoother, and there's games on the Switch that are battle royales, like Fortnite, that run a lot smoother as well. The game is hard to play, not because it's just a difficult game. It's just because it's almost broken in a sense when it comes to playing it on the Switch. And that puts me at a 2.5.
Still the same great Apex you know and love, with some new touches, but the Switch struggles with the graphical side of things here.
This week, the guys and I had a pretty cool discussion. We're taking games that we all know and love, well, giving them a bit of a twist. Check it out.
Alright guys, so this week I thought I'd do something a little different because we all have franchises that we love and play a ton of, or have played a ton of in the past. So I was thinking, man, wouldn't it be cool to have one of these franchises do something different? So with that, Drew, what is one of your top franchises, one of your favorite things? What do you want to see it do differently?
Okay, well, I'm going back to actually just to last year. My game of the year last year was The Last of Us Part 2. Now, we've all seen the zombie apocalypse, this, that, and the other, right? But I want to take Ellie and her characters and Joel, probably spoiler for Last of Us Part 2, bring Joel back, let's go to that, and have a open world survival take on that game, because The Last of Us and The Last of Us Part 2 is so story driven, is really that linear expansion on the game, right? Well, what I want to do is actually blow it up. I want a DayZ-esque experience, that Walking Dead scenario where you're building up your community. You're out there, you have to go out of your own kind of comfort zone and gather up resources to bring back to your base and help your own community grow, survive, and build up relationships and get something that's a little bit different and unique to the world of The Last of Us. Because The Last of Us, like I said, is getting from point A to point B. And it's all, well, Last of Us Part 2 is all about revenge, more or less. This time, let's just blow it open and let everybody have that free roam and kind of just explore, because there's so much of the world to explore. There's places you could go in this game that are just incredible, and the time that I spent there was amazing. So I want to see that just taken maybe a little bit further, right? Still sticking with what we kind of know, but yet making something a little bit different by adding this extra little resource of, you know, you have to survive, so you got to go looking for food, you got to get more ammo. It's all scarce in the game, but this little twist is just enough to excite me, to bring me right back into something a little bit more unique with the title as well.
Oh yeah, I hear you, man. Like, that's one of those games where I think you don't want to change it. Like, you want to change it right up, but because you want to keep that the core part of those games. But I think that perspective of that game would be really cool to kind of dive into, especially if you're not so heavy into the story side of things and you're more into the survival end. And I'm kind of taking an open world game, and I'm not making it smaller, but I'm changing kind of the perspective. I played a ton of World of Warcraft, you know, when I was younger, and it was a game like I played like religiously, man, and it would never stop. But it's a game I haven't played in a long time, and it's one of those things where it's a huge time crunch, those MMORPGs to get into, and you invest a lot of time, sometimes a lot of money, so you stick with these games for a while, but when you kind of fall out of touch, it's hard to get back into them. So I would love to see a World of Warcraft played out more like a Witcher 3 or an Assassin's Creed style, right? Where we kind of, I get to build my characters, same RPG elements, everything that WoW world offers, but maybe give me a little more of a story, depending on the character class that I decide to choose from. You know, if I'm a dwarf hunter, maybe that story differs from, you know, if I'm going to jump in and be, you know, a paladin or something like that. You know what I mean? So it'd be cool to kind of build more on the story side of things, kind of like what you were saying, Drew, but in the opposite take. And kind of just take that perspective from being, you know, a little bit higher, give me that third person view, and just kind of let me play with the one character necessarily. Maybe not as many PvP elements, but I'm just looking for something that we could, you know, switch up that franchise, maybe mature it a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying WoW's for everybody. Everybody plays it, but I'm at a stage now where I play games where, you know, if I can jump in, jump out, that's great, but it's a good story that's really going to keep me. So it'd be nice to see that kind of brought into the World of Warcraft world.
Wow, man.
That's cool.
You kind of opened my eyes to some really cool idea. That is really awesome. I love open world RPGs. So to see World of Warcraft, man, if they could do that, I am in. But speaking of open world games, I love the Elder Scrolls. And more recently, like about a week ago, I heard someone in the comments on a video talk about Elder Scrolls being brought to a real-time strategy. Kind of like StarCraft, man. When I heard that, I'm like, oh, that's got to be my choice. Because, man, the Elder Scrolls already, to begin with, if you're just playing the game, there's like 10 races that you can choose from, all with a plethora of different abilities. I think, man, with this, if you had like kind of a Warhammer Dawn of War style based campaign, which I know not everyone's familiar with that, but it's like kind of taking over territories and continents. Like if they did something like that with Elder Scrolls Online cutscenes like Blizzard does, wow, man, I think so many people would be absolutely sold on that.
That's right. Bethesda needs to hit us up and we'll just go in the conference room. We'll
I got lots of ideas.
Get it all taken care of for them. That's definitely a different discussion this week. We had a blast. This is something unique. Do you have one of those games you want to flip on its head? Let us know at InsideTheGame.ca.
Psyonix is announcing a new standalone Rocket League game for the mobile platform, Rocket League Sideswipe. Now this looks like a pretty interesting entry into the mobile market. I was kind of always wondered why Psyonix hadn't had a Rocket League game for the mobile platform. It seemed like a game that would just kind of fit. But to be fair, they've actually kind of switched things up here. Notice the name Sideswipe. Well, we've changed up perspective here. We're not on a 3D map anymore. We're kind of on this side-scrolling type angle. And it looks like that's kind of the way the games are played out a little bit. The goals seem to be up on the walls opposed to, you know, kind of how we're used to it in the traditional Rocket League sense. But this actually seems like a kind of a way that it'll make playing on the mobile platform a little more seamless. Again, you know, we're just going off some of the screenshots we've gotten, but it's looking pretty interesting. We definitely have all the customization options. It definitely looks like the same kind of style there as far as, you know, all the different things you can do to customize your cars. So that's really nice to see that we haven't really lost out anything there. It'll be interesting to see the game modes that are going to be available. They have said there's going to be 2-minute 1v1 and 2v2 matches, and it does look like there's a basketball game in there, which is part of the original Rocket League as well. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what other kind of special game modes they may also offer. But it's definitely cool to see them finally coming to the mobile platform and kind of rebranding themselves in a little bit as far as the style of game. I think it's going to hold strong to the Rocket League name, and I think fans of the series are really going to enjoy it. But I think people that have never played this game before are really going to maybe enjoy it on the mobile platform. So it'll be interesting to see what the controls are like, how the game kind of plays out with the new perspective. But honestly, later this year, I'm definitely going to be downloading Rocket League Sideswipe.
Alright, so another exciting week of game reveals, and this time I'm talking about Warhammer Necromunda. This game looks absolutely wicked. It's a first-person shooter, wall running, double jumping, grapple hooking, chaos shooter, which I am all about. It kind of looks like it's got some Doom sort of mechanics alongside, dare I say, Dishonored. It kind of looks like Dishonored. Wow, this game looks wicked. You have to watch this trailer. And this game came out of absolutely nowhere. And it comes out in June. No delays, no nothing. Just a sweet looking game that comes out this summer. Let me know if you're excited about this or if you already knew about this game.
If you're a big fan of pinball games, there's only one place you have to go, and that's Zen Studios' Pinball FX. Now, Zen Studio has been around for nearly 15 years, and they've dominated the pinball genre of game. Well, good news is there's a Pinball FX coming out this year, but there is also an issue with it as well. First of all, you cannot transfer all your tables you've purchased previously from all the other games to the new consoles, and there's a reason behind this. The Hungarian developer explained that any legacy tables that it pulls will be retrofitted with its new physics engine, which obviously requires significant development efforts and tuning. A lot of its tables are also based on licenses like Marvel and Star Wars, which will probably require some renegotiation. In terms of the game itself, new features include Pinball Royale, a Battle Royale inspired multiplayer mode, as well as a new challenge modes and revamped competitive play. There's going to be a lot of disappointed fans out there, because over 15 years you can rake up a lot of tables in that period of time and then not to have it transferred over to the new console. But also Zen Studio said there's a new engine mechanics to make the game feel more realistic to the pinball machine. And also I'm also looking forward to trying it out on the PlayStation 5, because I've also heard that they're going to optimise the DualSense controller to its full potential, which means that every time you'll move the left trigger or the right trigger, it'll feel like the flippers from the real pinball machine to immerse you more into the game. Now this sounds really cool to me.
Rescue Sammy Martinez.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. Not just kill him, teammate.
Now it's just time to jet up those 3 flights of stairs, guns and blades. And...
No problem.
Yeah, 'cause at least your underdoor thing would be kind of nice to have.
I think these bicycles work.
Nate's going in these rooms pretty blind.
Why can't I open this?
I don't know.
It must be
That's
reinforced.
That's the only way in, though, Nate.
There could be somebody on the other side of the door.
You gotta bash it, and it'll knock them out.
That's true.
Oh yeah, breach charge will do it.
Oh, here we go.
Placing charge.
Oh!
Stop!
Oh, you walked right into your own explosion.
That was close. At least I didn't bleed myself out there.
There's two guys there. One of them is.
Show me your
Wait,
hand.
flashbang. You got it.
Nice, there you go. You're both stuck. Both done.
You gotta get through the door, boys.
Jump it, jump it. Jump, jump.
Adam's stuck on something.
He walked right by. I was stuck on Nate. Oh!
Oh!
It's a barricade or something.
Flashbang out. Let me see your hand. Don't move. Hands up.
Nice.
Suspect into custody.
Nicely done.
This guy's rude.
Yeah,
Stay
there's
calm.
Yeah, I'll be cutting some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Securing evidence.
All right, Nate. You got about
Sneeze.
50% of this floor left to check out.
All right.
Oh, and the roof.
All
There's a
clear.
roof.
What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the roof. It's just one big spot area. Oh, that's gonna be greasy.
Do you guys want me to restart?
No, dude.
No, I want you to splash it out.
Hands in the air. SWAT. Hands up. Put him up.
He ran away.
Stop where you police. On the ground. Freeze.
Not interested.
Nope.
Show me your hand. Hands up.
Give him the siege speech.
Oh,
he gave
there.
up.
He's
Heads up.
interested. He's interested.
Helping someone.
He got scared. Saw the shotgun. He's
Oh,
like,
no,
I ain't
you
having
got a
that.
set of stairs to your right.
Oh, another guy, another guy.
Whoa.
That makes a sniper right.
It is. It is. It's such a sniper. I love it.
Like, I feel like maybe you would have had to have gotten a little closer for a shotgun to be effective there, but no. 30 feet down the hallway. Oh, there's
Police.
two.
Get
They're
down.
good, they're clean.
Hands in the air.
There might be a
Securing
third,
evidence.
so just be careful.
I'm stuck. What am I? Oh, guys, I'm stuck.
Uh-oh.
Jump, jump,
No.
jump. Can you jump?
Police.
Change your weapons. Try to close that door. There you
Oh,
go.
good call, Cory.
Oh, boy.
On the ground.
Oh, the door.
Assist from the
closed.
grave.
That's
Give me your hand.
what
Stay calm.
Yeah, so you just
Still
got
not
that
bleeding.
big room up to your left. And then this, you can go up the stairs and you'll be clear after that.
Okay. So is this all clear then? I
Just the
guess?
room.
There's
you
a
gotta
room.
get that room you're walking around.
Yeah.
That's it.
Door
Oh,
right
this one here.
to the left.
Unlocking door.
That's the only room. I'm gonna say there's somebody in.
Floor clear.
Cleared.
Up the stairs you go, bud. To the so the
All
roof's
right.
wide open. Roof's wide open. So I think you're gonna be in it as soon as you get up there.
I've got someone.
Oh, he's clean.
Put him up. Freeze. Stop.
Put your hands up.
There you go.
Very quiet.
Suspect into custody.
Like, to be fair, if I was that criminal, I'd be screaming even if I was getting arrested.
How do I reload? Okay, good.
Oh, I like how it shows the little reload animation.
Yeah, me too.
Well, at least you got some cover behind those boxes.
Floor clear.
I like how it shows.
Oh,
Nice.
there
we go.
it is.
Nice.
We did it, boys.
Clutch.
That was good.
Nicely done. This week's mobile mention, I got a pretty cool game. It's another team-based shooter. It's called Bullet Echo. This one's actually a lot of fun. It has a Battle Royale game mode. It has a King of the Hill game mode. It's got a ton of upgrading. There's a ton of heroes you get to choose from. There's a few you get to start with, and then you unlock the rest as you go. Let me tell you, there's a whole bunch of fun stuff you get to do in this game. All the matches are really quick, whether you're dying early or you make it to the end. You're probably only in it for maybe 3-4 minutes max, and then you jump right back into the next one. So there's a ton of just kind of leveling up you do throughout this game. And to assist you in some of the grinding, there's contracts, which is essentially just challenges in this one that kind of give you a bunch of different things to complete as you play through some of the game modes to kind of help you gain in-game currency to be able to upgrade the different heroes that we have here, because there's quite a few of them, so you're going to be doing this for a little bit of time. The nice thing is you don't just upgrade their gear, you upgrade their stats. So there's a ton of different gear to choose from here, which is pretty wild. There's a pretty extensive store here as far as buying in-game currency, buying packs, buying chests. But you know what, one of my favorite parts here is the fact that you have the ability to join up with your friends and play in these Battle Royale 3v3v3v3 squad modes where you're playing a bunch of different people, but you could be joining up with your friends. And let me tell you, it's a ton of fun because the fact that the way this game's kind of laid out and it's this top-down style, you get a bit of viewpoints, you get to see the guy's footprints when they're around the corner. Like, there's a bunch of different things here that kind of add to the strategy of this game. It's not just this point and click. Each character, depending on their weapons, will have a different kind of cone effect that projects out from them. When an enemy enters that cone, you will just automatically shoot. So the idea here is to be pretty stealthy so people don't hear you. You find upgrades along the way. There's armor, there's health, there's upgrades for your weapons. So you can, get a silencer to reduce the sound so people can't hear you, because let me tell you, when you get into a gun battle in this game, it gets pretty wild. So you got to make sure that you're positioning right, you're covering up properly, because it doesn't take long for a strong enemy to come through and wipe you and your squad out. But it is nice because you do have the chance to revive your squad mates if you have some time and a little bit of cover. You can actually make it happen. So that's a pretty cool little feature here. But there's definitely some other awesome game modes. King of the Hill was a lot of fun, and Sabotage, which is kind of this interesting bomb/domination type game mode, and I really enjoyed it. I thought this one was a lot of fun, and let me tell you, if you're looking for a cool top-down squad-based mobile shooter, you got to check out Bullet Echo.
Alright, Steve, this week we got our hands on a dogfighter free-to-play game that's in beta, so this is going to be a recommend or do not recommend. And man, what did you think of this dragon riding dogfighter style game, dude?
Well, first off, like we still said earlier, there's quite a few multiplayer online PvP kind of games. And to have another one come out and be different and unique to keep people entertained, this ticks all the boxes for me. This was so much fun. I absolutely love this game. And like you said, this is in a beta mode as well. Graphically, it was really good. I love the way that they performed the dragons with the wings moving up and down. It was so clean. Visually, it was just a nice looking game. But there's a lot more to it than just flying dragons, as you have a rider that has abilities to go with these dragons. And there's 3 classes as well.
Yeah, Steve, so with 3 classes comes quite a bit of variety. Each character has the same left and right click attack, a flame ball and a fire breath move. But then where the classes kind of differentiate is one of them, let's say the Wind Guard. They're more of like a healer-based class that leaves a smoke trail behind them if someone's chasing them down. Or in my case, the one I really liked, the Marauder, which deflects incoming attacks and makes it so enemies can't lock onto you for a short period of time. Or has the Gust ability that just blows you far away from them. There is honestly a lot of variety just between these 3 different classes that we've seen so far. And they do actually have one grayed out on the home screen, so we know that at least one's coming when the full release comes up in April. But man, again, like I said, these 3 classes, the graphics look great. I love the dragons. I like that you can customize your dragon and your rider. They kind of went for like this more medieval and realistic look, which I absolutely adore. I love making a really cool knight on your really cool dragon, all of which you can customize. It's not just, you know, get a new dragon or get a rare dragon. You can get your legendary dragon, but you can also get your different craniums or saddles or different armor pieces for your character. There's a lot of customization in this free-to-play game, dude.
Oh yeah, it's definitely. And just touching on the points when you sort of said there's not a lot of controls in it. A lot of it's from the mouse, space key that will give you acceleration. The shift key will kind of slow you down or stop you mid-flight. And then you have S and D, which are extra abilities which get unlocked depending on what match you're on. Like when you start the first match, you just get the 2 attacks. And then in the next round, then it unlocks one of the other abilities, depending if it's a gust or if it's a projectile. And then the next match, you'll get the other ability, which could be a shield or a different kind of ability, depending on the character you have. But to start the game off, you have to start off as a rookie. And it's just a 3 versus 3. They're 2-minute rounds, and it's the first one to 5. And boy, it's intense. That first match is intense.
Honestly, I that's where I found I spent a lot of my time was in the 3v3 modes. The 6v6 was a little bit laggy from my bit of experience. There was a lot happening with that many people.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's so much my PC, but you were having some issues as well. So it kind of leads me to believe that they maybe have some server issues to work out. But man, again, the 3v3 fights, man, there are a lot of modes. There's only a couple unlocked in the beta, but there's got to be about 10 different things. You got like a sort of this capture the flag where you hold the flag, go through as many gates as you can, but if you die, the enemy team has to grab the flag and then go through gates, and then by the end of the timer, whoever has the most gates wins. There's like that kind of mode, but then you have again like that 6v6 chaos mode where you can get the special skirmish, and then there's a lot here. And then this is only in beta, and this is, as far as I'm concerned, going to be a free-to-play game. So you got to also kind of keep in mind with the currency and kind of the way the whole store is laid out. You got your gold and then your gems in which you can spend real money on to buy certain exclusive cosmetic items. But then the gold you can, buy pretty much everything with. So I don't know. I'm really excited for this, dude. This kind of on the rails, because you don't actually. Another thing with the controls in this, you're not pushing yourself forward. You're kind of always moving forward, which is honestly great because it makes the controls just a little smoother. You able to dash forward, like you said, with the sprint button while you're watching your stamina, or be able to just press shift and then quickly turn on the dime to turn around and kill the guy that's chasing you down. It's great, man.
I'm with you on that. When I first played it, I forgot about using the shift key to slow down or to stop. So the mechanics are great because when you're flying that dragon, and like you said, it's just going forwards, and when you got to quickly dodge a rock or a mountain or something, it's hard work. Keep sliding that mouse to the left to try and turn. And then I realised, hit the shift button, and then as you turn, like you said, you can just turn straight on the spot, which was another great feature which I liked because on the capture the flag, there's a lot of low flying where you actually fly through the mountain. There's like caverns, and they're quite tight and small. and you have to use that shift key in your mouse and just get,
It's like,
get
bang,
through
bang,
there.
bang.
Yeah, I've done a lot of that, and I've done a couple of face plants into the mountains as well. But going back to what you were saying about the lagging, I tried this 6 versus 6 skirmish one, and it's a 7-minute round, and it's 6 versus 6, and it's trying to destroy as many enemies as you can. Every dragon you destroy, you get a point for that for your team. And I think we kind of won it on like a 43-37 in 7 minutes, and that was intense. But I did have a lot of issues, like you said, with the lagging, which was very frustrating because you don't need lagging in this game, because a lot of times it lagged on me just as I was trying to turn, and next thing I know, I'm in the mountain and I'm set on fire by the other team. So that wasn't a good thing for me. But overall, the whole game itself, apart from that one issue, it played perfectly for me. I had no problems at all. And another thing I noticed as well that we sort of mentioned earlier is on the load screen is when you hit the space bar to sort of give you tips or ideas. I did actually get like a green A icon come up, which kind of hints to me like, is this coming to console, maybe Xbox or something later on? Maybe working on the optimization on that as well.
Hopefully, man, hopefully, because I think if this game can land on other platforms and then hit that crossplay, like break through that crossplay barrier, you could have a really good, successful multiplayer game here, man. I really, really believe so.
Yeah. And also, at the beginning as well, I did like the way they done the tutorial as well. There's another icon for the tutorial, and it will go through all the different modes that you can have, and it'll break it down, like the basic controls, the objective of the game, and then it'll be like a little video clip of what you're supposed to do and the aim of the game. So I did find that very useful as well, because there's been quite a few games we've reviewed and tried out, and there's nothing at all for what you're supposed to do or the idea of the game or anything like that. So this was a big help for me as well, even though there was limited controls.
The tutorials were great, and they also had a free roam mode, so you could literally just fly around and kind of just practice maneuvering your dragon and using your abilities. So again, great having these options, because man, we play a lot of games and a lot of games don't have very intuitive tutorials. So okay, man, I think we've definitely talked about this one now. Are you gonna recommend this one?
I think it's pretty obvious from my perspective. Apart from the lagging, which you get in a lot of games nowadays, and this is, like I said, it's still early beta mode. Graphically, the gameplay, I found it very addictive, and I'm sure this is definitely going to be a few Let's Plays on the ITG roster coming up later on. But this is definitely a recommend from me.
Yeah, man. Well, like you said, this game's in beta testing, and that's why they do this, to work out some of these online issues. So if they can fix that, and we maybe see this on console, this game could really, I think, take everyone by surprise. I highly recommend this one.
This is a highly addictive multiplayer online PvP game that was full of surprises. There were some issues with lagging on the 6 versus 6, but this is still in beta. This is a recommend.
That'll wrap up this week's show. Thank you for hanging out with us. And don't forget, you can be a part of our show. If you want to be the clip of the week, well, then go to insidethegame.ca or hit us up on Discord, where there you can submit your clip and end off our show. This week, however, we've got our very own Adam and Cory teaming up in Call of Duty Warzone. Thanks again for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next week inside the game.
Inbound. We should head to the safe zone. Seeing movement.
Made it through and took the win. Well done. The bounty target is down. Well done.